If this alien warrior had known that the last thing she would see before death was a human arguing with a cooking pot, she might have laughed at fate itself. The jungle of Elmora did not forgive weakness. It swallowed armies. It erased empires. And tonight, it waited for another victim. Sarah Varel, elite warrior of the Shannon Dominion, staggered through the glowing undergrowth. Her silver combat armor was cracked open at the shoulder. Blue blood ran down her arm, hissing as it touched the acidic mist rising from the ground. Her breathing came sharp, uneven. She had lost her squad, lost her commander, lost the battle. Her people believed in honor above survival. Capture meant disgrace. Failure meant ritual death. And she had failed. Behind her, distant tremors shook the forest floor. The Dominion hunters were tracking her. They would not rescue her. They would finish her. Sarah stopped beside a massive tree root, twisted like a frozen wave. Her strength was gone. Her vision blurred. This was the end. Slowly, she removed the activation pin from her wrist blade. A warrior's final act. She closed her eyes and prepared to die. And then, she smelled roasted meat. Her eyes snapped open. Smoke drifted lazily through glowing vines. Not plasma fire. Not chemical burn. Food. Impossible. Through the leaves, she saw a clearing. A fire. And a human. He sat cross-legged beside it, stirring something in a dented metal pan. He was humming. Actually humming. Like this was a picnic. Not a death world. Sarah stared in disbelief. The human wore mismatched survival gear, half civilian, half scavenged military. A worn fabric patch read, Earth Expeditionary Survey. Civilian. He lifted the pan, sniffed it critically. Needs more salt. Sarah blinked slowly. Salt. In a war zone. Was this a hallucination before death? The human suddenly looked up. Their eyes met. A long pause. He tilted his head slightly. Oh, he said calmly. You look like you've had a bad day. Sarah expected panic. A weapon drawn. A scream. Instead, he gave a small wave. You hungry? Her mind struggled to process the question. Hungry? She had been seconds from suicide. Her legs gave out. She collapsed into the clearing. The human stood immediately, but not with fear, with concern. Easy, easy, he said, kneeling beside her. You're bleeding. He examined her armor carefully. No Dominion tags. Independent unit, he muttered. That explains why they're chasing you. Sarah forced her voice out. Why help? He shrugged. Because you're alive. As if that was enough. He pulled out a compact medical kit. Foam sealant hissed over her wound, hardening instantly. Efficient. Improvised. Human. You're lucky, he said lightly. I'm not just a cook. I'm an engineer. She studied him now. Not large. Not enhanced. But steady. Unshaken. What is your name? She asked. He smiled slightly. Elias Rowan. Civilian contractor. Explorer. Professional trouble magnet. And currently your medic. Why are you not afraid of me? She asked. He stirred the pan again. Should I be? We conquered 12 systems. He shrugged. Sounds exhausting. She stared at him. No fear. No hatred. Just curiosity. The ground trembled again. Closer this time. Elias glanced toward the jungle. Ah, that would be your friends. They are not my friends. Thermal lights flickered through the trees. Dominion hunters. Closing in. Sarah tried to stand. Pain forced her down. Elias calmly kicked dirt over the fire. Darkness swallowed the clearing. Can you move? He whispered. Not far. Good enough. He lifted her arm over his shoulder. You're smaller than I expected. You are foolish, she muttered. Probably. They disappeared into the jungle. Moments later, Dominion soldiers burst into the clearing. Weapons scanning. Frustration rising. They split into search formation. Sarah felt dread tighten her chest. They would find them. Humans were fragile. Slow. Weak. Elias stopped, tapped a device on his wrist. A pulse spread outward. The jungle responded. Bioluminescent plants exploded into blinding light. Dominion optics overloaded instantly. The ground collapsed beneath them. Hidden pits. Vine snares snapped tight. Shock mines detonated. Chaos. Sarah's eyes widened. You prepared this? Yep, Elias said casually. Surveying new planets gets dangerous. You learn to cook and set traps. Silence returned within minutes. Elias crouched by a fallen log, activating a holographic map. Phase 2, he murmured. Sarah stared. You expected pursuit. Always do. He looked at her seriously now. Humans survive because we assume we're outmatched. So we plan like we are. Something shifted inside her. The Dominion believed strength was dominance. Humans believed strength was adaptation. You fight without pride, she said. He smiled faintly. Pride doesn't win wars. Solutions do. For the first time since the battle, Sarah felt something new. Curiosity. And maybe hope. Continue pacing. Fire ending segment. Final emotional punch. Sarah Varel had closed her eyes, expecting death. She opened them to a human cooking dinner. And somehow, that simple act, compassion over conquest, curiosity over control, connection over fear, changed the future of the stars. Because humanity did not win by being stronger. They won by being different. And in a galaxy that only understood domination, that difference was unstoppable.